Hello there, people. Hail, as the fandom men say. Today's video is gonna be me, like I said, the last one. I'm gonna be talking about how I would fix the sequel trilogy. So this isn't gonna be really a rant on what they did. I might bring up some stuff, but I'm gonna try to keep it to where, I just want to keep it to where, like, that I just want to talk about my ideas. So, we start off with Force Awakens. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to keep the same characters. As much as I would love to just go straight up, no, decanonize this shit, we're going to just do it straight up from the EU. The EU's there. I feel like I want to make it more challenging. I'm just going to straight up just keep it with these characters, but just switch certain... I'll admit, one character is going to go, and it's Rose. She's no place. She has no place. She wasn't in episode 7. She was just thrown in there. And I get some people try to make use of her in theirs, but no, she's gone. She's like the only one I'm gonna expunge. She just is a pointless Ryan Johnson add-on. But yeah, I'm gonna keep it with these characters. So as much as I would love, I was even contemplating like maybe I'll bring Mara Jade, because I do like the idea of Luke being married and having a new Jedi. Shit, hold on. The new Jedi Order. I like that idea, but I think it would complicate things. So we're just going to keep it these characters. So I'm not going to just go through the whole... another one, Force Awakens, is going to be a big change. No Starkiller base. I think that was just dumb. The idea of the First Order just having a Death Star just doesn't make sense. It doesn't work. It doesn't... So no, instead it's gonna be they're gonna have a base on a planet. I like Exar Kun. As much as I hate Rise of Palpatine, that planet's kind of good, and it makes sense for I could see that being the First Order's base. They're not gonna be as powerful as they were, because then they're pretty much just remnants of the Empire. That's the main point we're gonna go for here. And Finn, in mine, is I like the idea of an escaped stormtrooper, but in mine there would be we're gonna go in his past. And I understand Star Wars isn't about flashbacks or anything like that, but I like the idea of, let's explore him as a stormtrooper. I think, that was a big problem I had with Force Awakens, is we didn't explore him being a trooper. It's just, oh, he's killing his brothers now. So I like the idea we're going to see him in it. And he's going to be a competent trooper, no janitor bullshit. He's going to be a competent trooper. Maybe he has a friend, or maybe he, in my view, he's going to overhear something from Kylo Ren and, Phasma about, maybe he's starting to realize, okay, this shit is bad. So we build up him escaping. And honestly, the whole Poe getting captured thing wouldn't happen either. I like the village beginning, so I'll kind of keep that. I actually do like that's the only part of Force Awakens I like. So we'll keep that. Instead, though, Poe escapes. And now Finn, that's where it starts setting in, okay, this is fucked up. And then he contemplates his escape. But I want to make his escape on his own, because I felt like the way they did it with Poe was just very weird. And the way he just gets the name Finn is dumb. It's like Solo getting his name. So no, we're going to keep it just simple for right now. He escapes the base, and then they're hunting him. So now we jump to Rey. We're going to make Rey a flawed character from the beginning. You see she has flaws. She lives on Tatooine. We're not doing the Jakku, because Jakku is his Tatooine. So she was born on Tatooine like Luke and Anakin. And maybe she's just a simple slave girl. And Poe eventually... Not Poe. Yeah, fuck it. Poe ends up there, and he meets her. And then Finn also arrives. That was the other problem, is they were building these three up like they're the new three, but they weren't even in the scene together until literally the last movie. So I think if you're gonna, you gotta have them meet up together. And Poe can nickname him Finn, but just the way it was kind of hastily done so another thing that's gonna happen is Kylo Ren is not unmasking. We're gonna keep the mask on him the whole time. And Snoke is his teacher, but Kylo is make it a mystery that, yeah, the whole Ben Solo thing, he's still going to be Ben Solo, but we're going to keep it a secret. To Han and Leia, he is dead. He is just dead. They think Kylo Ren killed him. So basically, kind of what Obi-Wan told Anakin, not Anakin, Luke, in Episode 4. Like, Vader killed Anakin. It's essentially a metaphor, but yeah. So, and now we jump to Coruscant, because yes, Coruscant's gonna be in my movie, because Leia is a politician there, and I think that's another thing. She's not a general. She should be in, like, politics, like her mother was. So yeah, she's gonna be a politician, and Han is a general of the New Republic. This whole yeah, I'm not gonna go into them ruining Han. We already did that in another video. So yeah, Han and Chewie are generals, and Luke is a bit recluse, but we're not gonna have him in hiding. He's just with them, but he doesn't feel strong in the Force with what happened to Kylo. He blames himself. So I don't mind that angle of Luke somewhat doubting himself, but the way they did it. So yeah. So all three of our characters are together, and they have to figure out what they're gonna do with the new enemy, and then now, and then we kind of go back to Tatooine, and there are somewhat First Order troops there, and that's where maybe there's a big skirmish because they see Finn, and Poe, and Rey have to try to escape, and then you have this big, chase like All Stars movies have, and they escape because they're saved by maybe there you have Han and Chewie who just happen to be there, or like maybe going to Tatooine for a different reason, help them out, and then that's where they all meet, and then they go to Coruscant. Coruscant in this is gonna basically be the main area for the rebels because it makes sense. I was either gonna do Coruscant or Naboo, but I'm gonna do Coruscant just because it's a recognizable plan, and just because I like the idea, like the side rein here, the whole notch. We don't even know what happens to Coruscant in the new movies. Coruscant was such a big vital planet in the prequels. Even because leading to the OT, that's where even in the OT, Coruscant is mentioned. Yeah, it's not mentioned in the movies, but if they still make Coruscant an important planet, and I think that's the disappointing thing. They don't. So in mine, yeah, Coruscant is the main base for pretty much the rebels, and Kylo Ren and Snoke you actually going to see Kylo training, his Sith training. He's going to be a Sith. We're not doing this. He's the dark. They just complicated shit with that. So he was training in the dark side. And then maybe you have little flashbacks of him maybe as Ben, but we don't know. We just kind of just like, okay, what are these flashbacks? And then eventually, because we're going to build up. And then I didn't write out a whole movie, so we're just kind of going to jump to the big... So the big battle is going to take place in the end at the First Order's base on Exar Kun. Han, Luke, and Chewie, and then Finn, and Poe is going to stay out in the outskirts because he's, a pilot. So, but they're going to go in because they feel like they're trying to find a way to stop the First Order. So they go there, and there's this big operation. They get caught. There's this big shootout in the end, and it gets too bad. Like, it's really bad. Like, more troopers are starting to arrive to where they all can't handle it. So Chewie kind of just grunts, giving a grunt to Han that Han can recognize, basically telling Han, "No, I got this. You guys got to go." And Han doesn't want that, but Chewie literally tells him to run. And okay, they run. Han turns around and he gets captured, and then he's held down by troopers, and then Phasma just kills him. I think if you do something like that, because I feel like you needed a big death like that, not Han. I think Chewie dying, you bring out the emotion. And also, I love Chewie, but he's just there for nostalgia purposes now. Like, he's just there to get a cheap pop. So I feel like if you give him a proper send, he dies in the EU anyway. And also, it's twofold because now Phasma is this evil bitch now that you want to hate now. And then they're confronted by Kylo. And Kylo acts like he still killed Ben. So, because I think the reveal that you gotta say that. Even I would even be fine in my episode 8. I'll even say here, episode 8. Then you can have the reveal. But in this, I feel like you needed not in this movie. So you have the big out battle in the shit, on the outskirts, them fighting the Star Destroyers with the rebels, and then on the ground, Kylo Ren is confronting Han and Leia, not Leia, Han, Rey, and Finn. And Finn and Poe, not Finn and Poe, Finn and Rey try to fight Kylo Ren with lightsabers because Luke gave them to him because he could sense something about both of them. So they try to fight Kylo, but Kylo beats them. Let's just keep it. Kylo whips their ass because realistically that's what should have happened. And then he's about to kill him, and then Luke comes. And then Luke and Kylo have a bit of a fight, but then shit's starting to go haywire, like, because the planet's starting to blow or something. So they have to all go. So Kylo disappears, and then they all go back to Coruscant. And they all kind of like a little nod to like how episode 4 ends. They all get like kind of like an award, for help saving the day. And Luke is ready. He says to Finn and Rey that y'all are ready. You're gonna be trained. So Luke's gonna train Finn and Rey. Yes, Finn is gonna be a full-fledged Jedi. Let Poe be the military guy. And then you know what? And then you have a little nod and memorial for Chewie in the end. I actually think that's how I'm gonna end it. A funeral for Chewie. So it's the award ceremony / Chewie's funeral. And and you just end with Han looking at him, and then Han and Luke looking at each other, and Leia, just all three of them looking at each other. And then you jump to the Sith side, and Kylo and Snoke. And Snoke says, Kylo, you need more training, because you're not ready for Luke. And then film ends. So that's how episode 7 ends. I want to keep it the main focus on the original 3. I'm sorry, if you're gonna do a comeback film, you do gotta do that. So that's how I do episode 7. Now episode 8, I'm just not gonna title these. I'm just gonna keep it as episode 8. So episode 8 now is a few years later. Now it starts off with a straight up training session with Rey and Finn, Luke training them, just kind of like little homages, but I want to keep it somewhat original. They're being trained at Coruscant in like the old Jedi temple. Leia's still a politician, and Han's still a general. He still somewhat grieves for Chewie, but I know it's gonna piss off some people killing Chewie, but in my view, I think he would have been a better send off than Han. He'd be a better. I just feel like Han needed one movie. So it's a few years later now. Luke's training Rey and Finn. And Leia's still a politician. And the First Order is getting ready for a big attack. And then, like, news hits. Hoth's been attacked. The First Order is attacking Hoth. Because there's, still a little bit of outskirts of the rebels there. So kind of like a somewhat homage to... Like, I'm going to have little homages, but I'm not going to overload my trilogy with nostalgia. So, the First Order is attacking Hoth. And Han, Luke, and Leia sends Han and Luke, and Rey and Finn have to go over there. So they head over there. They just come in to the main area, and then it's Kylo, Phasma, just all blasting people. They have a little face-off, but it's very small because I want to build it up. So there's this big shootout, big fight. Kylo doesn't feel like he's ready to face Luke or Han yet, so he has to go. So there's this big battle. People are harmed on the rebel side, and the First Order go to another planet. They go back to Exarchun. That's still their base. It's just a bit damaged from the battle, and they're contemplating their next move. And so Han feel acknowledges that they're gonna need some help. So they go, even though yes, they have still some of the government control. The First Order are slowly building their army, and they have some. We're also gonna go into the world of like, they have some secret people working in Coruscant who are helping them and funding them. So, but I'm gonna do more on that later. So Han, Luke, and Finn and Leia and Rey go to Cloud City to visit no other than Lando, because I feel like Lando, just randomly bring him in the third movie just comes off as we need another nostalgia character. So I feel like, because I was even saying when Episode 8 came out, I feel like he would have been a good character to bring in. And now Lando still, owns Cloud City, but he also owns his own little, like, space casino, so you can have a little nod to... Because I don't mind the idea of a space casino, just Last Jedi did it really shitty. So, and, so they need... Han asks Lando for help, for some supplies and somewhat of an army, and he agrees. And then an attack happens. The First Order are starting to attack Cloud City, so there's this big battle they have to get ready for. Han gets in the Millennium Falcon, and it's a big star battle around the area, but then there's also a little bit of a ground battle. Luke, Finn and Rey, are doing a bit of like using their sabers and honing their first real test out their powers. So they're out there, but slowly Rey is starting to get frustrated because she can't get things right, so she got to get bailed out twice by by Luke, and she's slowly getting like angry because she's getting frustrated with the training. Like, even during the training session earlier, she was getting frustrated with things. And Kylo shows up, and he can sense it. He tries to persuade her to join, but she brushes it off along with Finn. So they try to fight him again, but they're not ready. So Luke and Kylo fight for a bit. Kylo gets a little bit of the best of Luke, but he's not ready to kill his uncle yet. Then there's no reveal. But then Kylo goes back to Snoke and tells him that he thinks Rey can be turned, because he senses that she is getting closer to the dark side because she's getting more and more angry with the training. So Snoke says, do it. And he also says, like, this is where you can have the reveal that he is Ben Solo. Make sure he never comes back. So just this big ominous thing. Luke is training Finn and Rey, and Finn is starting to slowly get a hang of it a little bit. Rey is getting the hang of it too, but she's just getting frustrated because she can't hone her senses, and she just crushes like a tree or something. And Luke is trying to tell her, you cannot get too angry, but she says she can't. So now, once again, we're getting closer to the final act. We go to Naboo because the First Order realizes there's something that they're going to need. So they go there, and then, the rebels try to go there to stop them. It's a big battle again, and there's this throne room. The reveal is Snoke was at Naboo secretly. So Kylo and Snoke are there. This is where we actually see Snoke, and Rey, Finn, and Luke go there to confront them. And this is where Luke confronts Snoke. There's this big showdown, and Luke calls him something. Luke calls him, "You're not Snoke, you're Darth Plagueis." And this is going to be the reveal that he is Darth Plagueis. He faked his death. He waited until, because he realized Palpatine was going to fail. So he let Palpatine think he won. So he faked his death for years. He built his own army. And he also, this is where the reveal that he had people in Coruscant. And that's where Luke realizes Coruscant is being attacked by within, by certain people. And so this is like, this whole thing is happening. And now we have the big battle, Snoke and Luke fighting it out. Luke, and there's this big Force battle. Kylo is fighting Finn and Rey. Kylo incapacitates Finn. Rey is fighting him, and she's starting to kind of use her anger against Kylo. But Kylo senses that, so he's like, you need to turn. But she's trying to hold back. But then Snoke takes out Kylo. Just randomly. Just throws Kylo. And then Snoke says, I have no use for you anymore. I only used you to get to her. And Snoke pushes Luke out of the way, goes up to Rey, and says he can make your training better, and that he could teach her certain things. And if she says, are you the real Darth Plagueis? And he said, yes, I am. And with that confirmation, she joins him. She joins the dark side. And the reason I'm going with this is because I was even saying this in episode 8. The way they wrote Rey, if you want her to be so powerful, fine. Her being dark side makes sense. I just don't get why they never went with that. I just think that would have been a nice twist in the end of episode 8. Her joining Snoke. Or I guess Plagueis in this case. They walk away, and Luke picks up Kylo, and they escape Naboo. Snoke takes Rey back to Coruscant, which is now owned by the First Order. And it's almost the way I did it with that is because it's almost like, because I really love Winter Soldier, and one of the things was Hydra was secretly working for S.H.I.E.L.D. So I really thought, like, imagine, like, secretly First Order loyalists were working for the rebels, and they turn, and that's how they take over Coruscant. Now, Coruscant is a First Order stronghold now. Now, now they're back at Naboo. Leia makes that her base because, that's where her mother was born. So, and that Kylo is unmasked. It is revealed to be Ben Solo. And Leia and Han are shocked. And Kylo goes off, well, I guess we're going to call him Ben now. Ben goes off on them about them abandoning him. And that's why. But they didn't. And Luke says to him, you're going to need our help. No matter what. We're not going to just have Luke nearly kill his nephew. I'm not doing that. So he's going to has to convince him, you're going to have to join us because you're on your own now. Because now Kylo Ren's pretty much considered an enemy now. He's no longer associated with Snoke. Because now that he was only using Kylo to get to Rey. Because he knew Kylo had somewhat of a connection with her. So Kylo, and it ends with Kylo having to get more training from Luke. Kylo and Finn are the two now. Now we go to episode 9. Episode 9, my episode 9 is going to be... It starts off with Rey has a new look. She has a double lightsaber. Just like Darth Maul style. and she's honing her Sith training. She's gotten much stronger because it's now a year later. We're gonna do a year later. It's a year later. She's honed her Sith training, and Plagueis says she's ready. So she's gonna do her first mission is to attack, lead an army to attack. Her and Phasma are gonna lead an army to attack Naboo, and her specific order is to kill Kylo Ren, aka I guess Ben Solo now, because now he's back to being Ben Solo. Now Luke and Ben are getting into it because yes, Ben theoretically and now he is going back to being a good guy, but he's still it's gonna take some time because he was just honing his Sith training, and Kylo because Plagueis. What really happened was we go to a flashback of what really happened. Luke was training his own Jedi Order, and as a ghost, because Plagueis. I'm doing what Plagueis was supposed to be doing with what they did with Palpatine and Rise of Palpatine. Oh, he can make things. So he appears as a voice. He uses Snoke. He uses Palpatine's voice to convince him because he was putting these thoughts in his head like, oh, the Jedi are this and that, and that's what made him turn. So he attacks his fellow students, and that's what really happened. And he faked his death to make it seem like, oh, Kylo Ren killed him. But now he has to hone his Jedi training back. And yeah, so Han and, and then Han has to come to grips with having his son back. So they're the same thing. He's going to have a distant relationship with pretty much his family for a bit because, he's not just going to be good again. We can't just act like nothing happened here. And then there's the big attack on Naboo. And they have to get ready. So Ben has a new lightsaber. He doesn't wear the black anymore. He's in brown Jedi robes. And I like the crossguard lightsaber, but we don't have it doesn't have the heat thing coming out of it like it did. It's just gonna be because there was this book out there, as much as it's gonna be shitty, they have a crossguard hilt, which just looks like a sword. It's gonna be like a sword, but just the saber coming out. He has that in his green, and Finn is in Jedi robes. And he has a blaster, though, so he's gonna have a little blaster, but he's gonna... So they're taking out troops. They're taking out and then Rey confronts Luke and says that she lied to him. No, he lied to her about this, and you didn't tell me certain things, and now... And Luke tries to turn her back and say, you can be that little girl you once were. And this is another thing that's going to come out. No Reylo bullshit. Han and Rey's going to be Han's daughter. Because I even think that's where they were initially going with Episode 7. That's why Snoke, a.k.a. Plagueis, we're just calling him Plagueis now. Plagueis wanted, that's why Plagueis had Kylo join him. Because he understood how powerful Rey was going to be. But we're not going to do this, she's a chosen one. But she just was, her and Kylo are supposed to be the dyad, but he realized Kylo was a failure, so he thought she would be better. And then Rey and Luke have this duel, and Luke doesn't want to do anything to her, but he's forced to use a big force push back, and she goes back, then she comes at him again. She uses lightning on him, and he's getting her, and then Kylo forces her back, saves his uncle. And him and her have a fight. And Ben is somewhat besting her because he's still a better swordsman. Because at the end of the day, he was trained by Luke and Plagueis. So, and they're fighting. She's coming back and she's starting to best him. Finn doesn't want to hurt her either because, they were starting to seem like they were starting something, and then just it never went there. But he doesn't want to put his hands on her, but he has to, but she pretty much takes him out because at the end of she's stronger in the Force than Finn is. And then So there's this big battle going on, and Rey has to. Snoke pretty much messages her in her mind that you got to come back. It's too. You're not ready yet. So she leaves. And Luke and Finn is incapacitated for a bit because Rey hurt him pretty bad in the battle. So he's getting healed. While that's happening, the Leia and along with Mon Mothma, she's still alive. She's a bit older though. Are all getting ready to plan to attack Coruscant because they want Coruscant back. So they have this big plan to take out Coruscant and at least take the First Order out. And back there, they realize in Snoke, it's kind of like a back and forth. Like the rebels are having their moment, getting ready for battle, and the First Order are too. So it's like just kind of two sides, and they're getting ready because Plagueis realizes they're gonna come. So he gives this big speech, and then we have this like, because there's Star Destroyers on bordering Coruscant in the air, so the rebels have to think of a smart plan. They get ready for battle. The battle commences, and then Han is leading an army of his own in the Millennium Falcon, and Finn, Luke, and Kylo know they have to stop Snoke. Their mission is to kill Plagueis. They don't want to have to kill Rey, but they're gonna have to stop Plagueis because they don't want this. He wants to stop the Sith from returning. So we have this big battle, and pretty much in homage to the throne room scene, Plagueis is there along with Rey, and then they're confronted. Luke tries his best to keep. He once again tries his best to turn Rey, but Rey's not listening because she's caught up in her power. So they battle, and Finn and Ben try to fight Plagueis, but it just isn't happening. Plagueis is too strong. So Luke says, no, I have to fight him. And then basically they kind of switch. Now it's Finn and Ben versus Rey versus, and you got Snoke versus Luke. And just this big battle, big force battle. Just a lot of, we're showcasing some new force powers, but I actually like the idea of, you can use the force in innovative ways. You don't need to make up random, like there's force healing, but not the way they did it. And Rey incapacitates Finn again. Now it's back down to Ben and Rey. He's fighting her. She's trying lightning and he blocks it. And he catches it, like, almost like how, Mace Windu did it in episode 3. Because he's still using some of his dark side training. And he throws the lightning back at her. She's out. And then now Ben tries to help his uncle Luke fight Snoke. Snoke takes out Luke, and now Ben is on his own against Kylo and against Snoke. And it makes sense because Ben wants revenge because Snoke literally lied to him and all this shit. So he joins, and you have this big battle. And in his head, the ghost of Anakin is telling him, you can use the Force, Ben. And almost like, because I do like the idea of the Force ghost helping him somewhat, even though it's very out there. And then Luke, so you have the ghost of Anakin, and Luke and Kylo team up to kill Plagueis once and for all. Rey, Finn drops his lightsaber and says, Rey, if you want to kill me, kill me. And she's about to, but then something in her snaps. Because Plagueis is dead now. So she snaps out of it, and we do turn her back. Because I actually do, because that was always my idea. Have her turn, and then maybe temporarily, and then in the end of 9, you could turn her back. So now the Force is restored. The First Order has been defeated, and you have like kind of like the celebration in Coruscant. Now Coruscant is now back to being owned by the rebels. Ceremony. Rey once again is knighted as a Jedi, and she apologizes for what happened. And now Luke has his own Jedi Order now, which is going to be led by Finn, Ben, and Rey. And then Ben and Han and Leia have a moment. Yes, Han and Leia are going to live. This is just like, obviously if Carrie Fisher didn't die. So this is just a what if. And then they look, and it's the ghosts of Anakin, Yoda, and Ben are all looking and celebrate. And that's how it ends. So that is my idea of how to do the sequel trilogy. I think I can come up with more stuff, but this is just for right now the blueprint. So I just wanted to get that video out there. The next video will probably be on Sunday. I'm gonna be ranting about how the MCU has done Hulk and Iron Man. Hulk and Thor. Sorry, because I already did it with Spider-Man. So yeah. Other than that, guys, I just kind of want to get that out there because I feel like the sequel trilogy. If they had implemented this or at least some of this, it would have been much better. But alright, guys, I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace.